Why did John Lee Hooker use fake names? Imagine a blues artist whose music hits hard and stays true to the roots, but behind the scenes, he's playing a different game. That's what John Lee Hooker did with his names. You might wonder why someone would go by different names in the music world. Well, it all comes down to money and contracts. Early in his career, Hooker signed with small record labels. These labels often released his songs under different names like John Lee Booker, John Lee Cooker, Johnny Lee, or even more creative ones like Delta John or the Boogeyman. This was a way to get around legal issues. When multiple labels releases the same artist's music under different names, it stops them from fighting over who owns what. It also meant Hooker could earn more money from his recordings. During that time, artists had little control over their music and earnings. Using different names helped him maximize income from each releases. His style was simple, raw, and deeply rooted in blues. It was so unique that it was hard for others to copy. Because of this, his voice and style became his main competition. By releasing music under various names, Hooker could flood jukeboxes and record stores with his sound. This increased his exposure and earnings, even if it confused collectors and historians later on. From a jazz perspective, this practice shows how many African American musicians faced tough challenges. They had limited access to fair contracts and had to find ways to survive financially. Jazz and blues artists often used pseudonyms to stay afloat. While jazz musicians focused on improvisation and originality, Hooker's hypnotic boogie style was so compelling that multiple identities helped keep his music in the spotlight. When studying his work or the blues from a jazz point of view, it's important to remember the economic struggles behind the scenes. His use of fake names reminds us of the systemic issues blues and jazz musicians faced. It also shows how they had to be clever to protect their art and earnings. This practice highlights the shared hardships of African American musicians trying to make a living. In the end, John Lee Hooker used fake names mainly to navigate tricky recording contracts and boost his income. It was a smart move in a tough industry. Although it caused some confusion, it was a practical way to survive and succeed. His story is a reminder of the business side of music and the resilience of blues legends like him.